Alright, so we're going to start off with a quick introduction to Drawing Challenge 2. This is the cottage floor plan. This is part of your term project, which is comprised of Drawing Challenge 2 through Drawing Challenge 8. So we'll start off with a brief introduction of what you're going to produce. If we take a look here at this example, you can see this is a C-size sheet. That is 24 by 18. That includes the floor plan showing exterior, interior walls with all the doors, windows, and openings, as well as the kitchen and bath fixtures, cabinets, appliances, and then overall room labels, interior elevation symbols, door and window symbols, and floor plan dimensions. You'll also be able to produce the window and door schedule and have the opportunity to develop a building section. What we're going to do is start off the project by showing you here the assignment. Okay, you can review there the methods and procedures, how you're going to be evaluated. You can have an example right here. When you visit the website, you'll be able to have access to the digital notes using this link here, and I recommend that everybody use the project template. So you'll go ahead and click on this link and download it to your project folder. As well, everyone should have this block library, project blocks. This contains all the fixtures, appliances, plumbing fixtures, and plan symbols that you'll be using in your project. Now, for the moment, I'll be referring to our step-by-step tutorial, which you can see here. And what we're going to start off with is we're going to take a look at some basic drawing setup settings, starting with the template. Okay, we want to make sure that we have at least 1/32 precision. We will be using a variety of scales for review and for presentation. And the first thing that we want to try to do here is develop the multi-line styles required to show the building envelope. We're going to use two different styles for both the exterior and interior walls. And one way to think of this is we have a base wall and we have a finish wall. So let's take a look, starting with the template. What I've already done is I've already downloaded it, and you can see here when I start a new drawing that I can select my project template here. What you'll want to do is when you download that project template, just double click on it to create a new drawing file, just like this. Okay, what you'll see here is you'll have a B-size title block and a C-size title block, which we'll get to once we reach Drawing Challenge 5, the print presentation. But for now, we'll start all our work in the model space. Okay. Now, if we take a quick look here, I'm going to show my menu bar here so I can access my menu for format. If I start with units, I want to double check here that I have the precision 1/32. Our degree angle there, just 0 degrees, that's fine, and make sure we're using inches. Then, because this is a template and I already have layers, if we take a look at our annotate tab here, you can see we already have some predefined text styles. We have a single predefined dimension style. Okay, what we can do is merely set the annotation scale, review some of our drafting settings if you wish, and simply start drawing. I recommend that you save this as your floor plan project. So for example, if I just go save as, what I want to do here is I just want to save it as floor plan. My project directory just looks a little bit different from yours. I'll just save it here as a sample. Okay, once you have it saved to your project directory, what you can do now is continue with the formatting for the multi-line styles. So once again, let's take a look here. If I show you, for example, our exterior wall is going to be comprised of two different multi-line styles. We want to make sure that we have a base that shows the nominal dimensions for our 2x6 construction, which is going to be 5.5 inches. As well, we want to make sure that our finish wall correctly aligns with our base wall. So you can take a look at the information here provided for the dimensions, but I'll turn your attention now to take a look at the format Multiline Style Manager. Now, for some of you, if you've already customized your ribbon here, if you take a look at your Home tab, your 2D draw panel, you should have your Multiline Style tool, Multiline Editor, and the Multiline Style Manager. That'll make it a lot easier for you as you begin to draw the envelope. Now, if I start here first, usually it should just be blank. Okay, I've actually got one of the multi-line styles there already for you. But let's start developing the exterior multi-line style. What you'll want to do is begin new. You could give it a name. We'll call it exterior base only, for example. Okay. And when you see this dialog box here, you want to give it a description if you like. Let's say this is exterior 5.5 inch. And I think we can't use any symbols there in the name, so I'll just put in 5.5 inch. Like that. And you'll see that I have a line at the start and end of each multi-line there. On the other side here, where you have elements, this is where you have to pay attention to your offsets. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'll just delete what we have there for the moment to start fresh. So if this is going to be a 5.5 inch base, okay, my first line here, if you take a look at the properties, we have 0 offset, so this could be your 0 line or your top or your bottom justification line. The color here, we want to make sure that it's by layer, because this multi-line style is going to go onto the appropriate wall layer. The line type here should also be defined by layer. Okay, let's see. I'll make it continuous there. Okay. Now, when we want to create the second line here, I'll just add, and this is where we can input the distance, 5.5. Now, we can see here the properties. We have color by layer, line type by layer, and let me go back here to adjust this one. This should also be by layer. There it is. Sorry about that. There we go. So those are the two lines that represent the base for the exterior wall. Okay. If you look in this area for fill, now this is not required, but you could also give it hatching or poché if you want to create greater emphasis. You, of course, could use a screen back color or any other color for that matter. But these will be the settings for our exterior base. I'll click OK. And now we can continue and create the additional multi-line styles. What I would do here, for example, is again create a new one. I'll call this exterior finish, and then continue. Now we can take a look at these settings here. Okay, so let's take a look at our elements here. And again, if we start, let's go ahead and get rid of this top one. If we assume that for this finish wall that our 0 line here is going to line up with the 0 line of the base, then we can start adding our lines with respect to this baseline here. So for example, On the inside, let me show you the view here. So you can see that on the inside we have 1/2 inch finish wall, and then on the outside we have 5/8 and 5/8 our shear ply, and then our particular finish there. So this is what we're trying to construct. So here, if I offset, we've got 5.5 plus the 1/2 inch distance. We're going to add 6 inches there. So if I make the change there to 6, okay, and this particular baseline, now this is the baseline that we don't want to see. So what I want to do to this one is I just want to change the color to use that no plot color, the 255 here. The line type doesn't matter because we're not going to see this line. We're only going to use it to align with our base. Now, as I begin to add the other layers here, okay, this is going to be a negative 5/8. This is the first layer of material that's part of the finish. When I click into this box, you can see it readjust. Actually, let's go ahead and put in the decimal, 625. Okay, and then I add another one. So you can see how this adjusted, right? Here's the 6, here's the 0, here's the 0.625. Looks like we got multiples there. I don't need that one. Okay, and then we have the other line below this, which is going to be a negative 1.25. So let's add another one. And I could do this just by inputting it here, minus 1.25, making sure that this is by layer. Go ahead, and there it is. It's already added. So this is the inside finish. These two lines here represent the outside finish. We have lines at the start and at the end, and you could see, let's say, oh yeah, I did need that extra line there, right? Because this is the outside line and we needed one to trace. So if this is 0 and this is going to be 255, so we have 6, 0. This one, let me fix that one. That should be the negative, right? 1.25. And let's see. Let's see if we got all of them there. So I keep getting an extra one. So there's that one, that one. That's the extra one right there. And this is what we should have at the end. So 6-inch offset there. On the opposite side, the 0.625, and then the negative 1.25. Let's click OK here so we can see the preview. Right, so we got our base, and this is our exterior finish. All right, so now we can take a look at building the interior walls. Also, we have a base multiline style and a finish multiline style. So let's go ahead and continue with that. If I click here, we're going to do our interior base first. All right, so we're taking a look at the interior base multiline style. We certainly need 3 lines here. The first line is going to be your 0 line for your baseline reference, which should be the center of the wall. And then you have the 2 other lines. One's the inside and the other the outside of the interior wall. So if we start with this first one here, let's change the color to 255. We could also change the line type to center to make sure it's clear for us. And then as we add another line here, what we're going to do is we're going to add that line 175, color by layer, line type by layer. We'll add a second one, this time at minus 175. And then that way, this will be our center line right here. and together the total width would be the 3.5 inches. Okay, so this would be our multi-line style for the interior base wall. Now, as we continue, if I click OK here, let's go ahead and create another one. This will be the interior finish. Now, the only difference here is this, is we could still use our center line here as our base reference because we'll just be tracing over the interior base wall. But in order to show the finish here, we need to add a little bit more. So we're going to, instead of making this 175, this will be 2.250. And this one here would be the negative 2.250. And together, this will show us that half-inch finish on either side of the base. Okay? We can adjust here our description. So there we go. There's the 4 multi-line styles. Make sure you customize your interface, and as you begin creating walls, what you'll be able to do here is use the multi-line tool. Check your style, for example, if you need to, before you start drawing, to set the correct style current. So if you're going to do your base first, you can double click that to make it current. When you start drawing, you're going to use the multi-line tool here. And then as you draw, you just want to think about the orientation, which direction you're going, as well as what layer you're putting this information on. What you'll see is, just to give you an example, let's put this on the correct layer. Put this on the A-wall exterior layer. That's your base. So if I was doing the finish here, what I would want to do is switch layers, go over here to the A-wall composition layer, go to your draw panel, change your multi-line style, we'll switch this to finish, and this is where justification will become important. When I click here, OK, and then come back to use multi-line, notice this. I'm not checking the justification, not just yet, but look at this. As I start, you'll be able to see that baseline should line up with your exterior wall base as well. So if I start drawing like this, what I'm actually saying is that I have the interior on the inside and the exterior on the outside, just like that. Okay? So the next thing we want to take a look at is using construction lines to lay out the base of the floor plan so that we have guides to know which direction we're drawing. Okay? We'll take a look at that in the next video.